Here at Canadian Love, we typically try to be non-partisan and politically neutral. But right now across the world, there is a movement of Black Lives Matter to try to end the police brutality and the violence against people of color, particularly by police in North America. You know, there's a long list of names of men who were unarmed, who were murdered by the police. And we believe that not having people murdered because of the color of their skin is extremely reasonable. So we want to state that we stand with that movement, we support that movement, and we hope to use this platform and my privilege as a white male to tell that story. What's up, Canadian Love? Here we are braving the pandemic to be at one of Kitchener's most historic events, the Kitchener-Waterloo Black Lives Matter March. We're going to be marching through downtown Kitchener, and I hear the turnout is going to be amazing. What an amazing place to witness people coming together for solidarity, support, and of course, Canadian love. I want to start by asking you about these signs. You know, obviously it's institutional and that's why so much energy is needed to change it. But your other sign, silence equals violence. Tell us a little bit about that.
I've been just noticing a lot of people turning a blind eye and ignoring the issues that are going on right now. And that's not the way to solve this problem.
Okay. I love that. What is the way to solve this problem?
Using your voice, getting out, making a difference like this, coming up, showing up to events like this, speaking to people within your own social groups, having those difficult conversations with them.
I really hope that aliens don't have to come from another planet for us to actually realize that we're all freaking the same.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We're all standing together. I think.
Yeah, like nothing like this has happened in our community, and there's countless amount of people here. I am very surprised and I'm very happy of the turnout.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here for about 20 minutes and people just keep walking by. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of Filipino people understand what it's like to be a minority in Canada. And we know that we as Filipino people have privilege. So we know that if it's bad for us and if the things that we experience as Filipinos are bad, we know that Indigenous people and Black people will experience those like exponentially worse than we do. So we can sympathize with them to an extent, but we know that because some people have it worse, more of their like livelihoods are threatened, then it's our responsibility to show up and to show out for them as well, because we all have like the same oppressors and we have a common enemy, which is white supremacy.
I've seen a lot of people say all lives matter and stuff like that, but all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter, and that's just the way it is. You understand, social injustice has been going on for a very long time, and you know, we have to keep addressing it. It's not going to happen overnight, but very important that, you know, we stand in solidarity with each other, whether you're Black, white, Chinese, Indian, no matter what, it's important that we do stand together.
Justice is what love looks like on the streets, and that's what we need.
Can I ask, what do you guys feel like will be the solution, or what's going to move us towards the solution? What gets us closer?
I think firstly, it's white people realizing that they have privilege, acknowledging it, and acting on it. And you know, there's been a lot of talk about how there's a difference between not being racist and being anti-racist. We want the people in power, the people with the privilege, to show and to act like they're willing to have a change, because we all see that it's unacceptable, but we need to see it in action. Allowing people of color in leadership positions and just giving them equal opportunity. And not to even mention the killings and the violence that's going on, that shouldn't even happen to begin with.
Something that I think white people don't get is just what it's like to grow up without that privilege, without knowing that you have a certain safety and that cops are your friends. Like, what would you say to try to help people understand the other side to white people?
You can't get a white person to understand what it's like to be a Black person. That just doesn't happen. What you can get them to understand is violence. If you don't want to be treated like we're treated, then stand up and say something.
I would say it's mostly about just educating yourself. I mean, you can't truly understand unless you research it and you try your best to put yourself in someone's shoes and empathize.
I don't know if you can ever truly put yourself in the shoes of someone who has gone through that oppression, but before you make a judgment on a person of color, like regardless if they're black or Asian or anything, ask yourself, like, would I be making the same judgment about them if they were a white person?
Yeah, I would say it's just good, like, to see people like white people who are privileged and grew up differently. It's just good to see, like, it's an eye-opener that, like, not everyone is against black people. And, like, we're all one in a way.
Basically, just do whatever you can. That looks different for everyone. So for some of us, it's marching, signing petitions, donating. For some people, it's just having conversations with your families about the injustices that are going on in the world, because it's a real thing and people are suffering.
Well, that was humbling. What an amazing historical event to be part of. I have never seen that many people congregated in Kitchener-Waterloo, let alone that they were all risking a pandemic to be out there and show support. And let's hope that this time stuff gets done. And you can add to that by donating to a couple of the funds that are being set up to help people on the front line. Yeah, those are Justice for Regis, Black Lives Matter Toronto, Toronto Protester Bail Fund, the Bail Project, and the Movement for Black Lives. Ultimately, my takeaways were that people who have not grown up with the experience of being a person of color and experiencing racism need to listen to the people who have and educate themselves so that we can understand where they are coming from and be the allies that they need so that nobody gets killed because of their skin color ever again. Thanks for joining us on Canadian Love.
Behind the shades are tears, because I am looking so far down this street, and I know that there is hope for my 5-year-old son.